Hello there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm back again with another old school, well, non-Duskborn commander. Let's go, that's not old school, it's still fairly new because it's Galadriel, Light of Valor. 2 green and white and blue for a 3/3 elf noble, and it has alliance. So whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you get to choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn. So we can add 3 green, we can put a +1/+1 counter on each creature we control, or we can scry 2, then draw a card. I know the most popular one's going to be the +1/+1 counters, but you know, the adding 3 green mana and the scrying 2 and drawing a card ain't to be sneezed at all either. So, this is today's deck, and here we go with it. I hope you enjoy it. So, starting from the beginning, we have some cheaper creatures to play out. Azorius Shepherd, Avacyn's Pilgrim, Birds of Paradise, and a new one from Duskborn, Insidious Fungus, which I actually quite like because you get to pay 2 and destroy an artifact or enchantment, or draw a card when you sacrifice a creature off, but it's still a 1-drop, so you know, you can draw a card, put a land in and play on turn 2, which isn't the worst thing in the world, to give ramp ahead a little bit, or you know, just keep it for the late game and take out the artifact or enchantments annoying you. Noble Hierarch makes an appearance as well, because we might as well have this in to get the right colours we need. And then we do have all the other Alliance creatures coming in from Streets of New Capenna. So, Attended Socialite. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, it gets +1/+1 until the end of turn. Yeah, that's pretty good. Then we have Bristling Bill to chuck around some +1/+1 counters. We get the landfall triggers and pay some mana and double them up. Gala Greeters gives us treasure, life, and a +1/+1 counter on itself. Sylvian Carotid just does the pumping for us. And Venom Connoisseur is also another one from Streets of New Capenna that saw a bit of play in, well, didn't see much in Standard, saw a bit of play very good. Well, for me it was very good in Limited. But whenever another creature enters, it gains Death Touch, and if it's the second time it's resolved, all creatures you control gain Death Touch, which means you have a nice little force to attack with. Gwalain, the Casting Director, makes an appearance because, you know, another non-token creature's entering, we get to put the tokens on them. Probably the monster token, sometimes the royal token, especially if you played this and you're playing Galadriel, you might as well give a ward. Nissa, Resurgent Animist, appears for the extra mana when you drop a land, or you know, you can find elves if it's the second time it happens, see what happens. Rumour Gatherer gives you a way of scrying, and then if it happens the second time, you get to draw a card, which is nice, another Alliance creature. Because we're in blue and green, Shardless Agent has a home here as well, just for a little bit cascading into something low cost, which can help us out no end. Social Climber also comes in, got Alliance, but it gains us a life every time a creature enters the battlefield under our control. Wojek Investigator I like for murders at Karloff Manor. Having the whole investigation at the beginning of our upkeep really does help us keep things going, and so we can keep things going with the treasure tokens and things we could be making. Adrix and Nev, the twin casters, make an appearance as well. Because I'm playing white, I have got Beezer in the Bounding Spring. Might as well have it in and just try and get some things on the go from this. Celebrity Fencer just gets us to put a +1/+1 counter every time a creature enters the battlefield under our control on itself. Elegant Entourage does the whole target creature other than Elegant Entourage gets +1/+1 and gains trample till the end of turn. So 4 mana for a 4/4 is pretty solid anyway, and the Alliance side of it just backs things up quite a bit. Falco Spara Pact Weaver, because you know, I just like casting spells from the top of my library by removing a counter from a creature. Since we'll have +1/+1 counters and shield counters to look at, it should be quite easy to keep removing some counters to cast things off the top of our library if we need to. Isha Ojik Dragon Speaker, no point not having it in a deck when you're playing blue and white, just so it gets bigger every time someone casts something. Lenore Autumn Sovereign, the Coven abilities here just have to make sure we have creatures with different powers to get the +1/+1 counters on a creature. And if we control 3 cards, creatures with different powers, we get to draw a card as well, so nice. Savala Eager Trailblazer gives us some mercenaries to pump around with when they start doing it, and it also taps for colour, which is nice. Solemn Sim just does the whole let's get a basic, put it into play and draw a card when it dies. Archangel of Thune just chucks around +1/+1 counters as we gain life, and we've seen a few ways of doing that already. Chilane, the Teller of Tales, cast a creature spell, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield after you've drawn a card. Yeah, I think everyone got very distressed with this when this first came out. Don't see much of it nowadays, but I thought it might have a home with Galadriel. And Karamatra, God of Harvest, we like casting creature spells, so we might as well go and get forest and plain cards out of our library and put into play when we have this going. Because he's by far and away the most popular video I've ever done here on the channel, Mr. Foxglove makes an appearance for today. The life link and then sorting the cards out is always fun. OJ Kaslim, the deepest growth, as I've said before, it's a green deck, it's going to appear. Just getting a smack in and getting a creature and land into the battlefield is pretty good. Yeah, and then the flipping into the Temple of Cultivation is the worst thing in the world, and it's quite easy to flip back with this deck. As the Tyrant of Gaia straight, might as well come in. Extra land draw, and when we get a landfall we get to draw a card and keep on going. I like Armada Worm, haven't played it for a while. This seemed like a natural place for it with the ramp we get from Galadriel when we play a creature. And notice that says Galadriel does say whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, so even the token one will trigger Galadriel if you've just played this on the turn. Because you've only got 6 mana after you've cast Galadriel on turn 4, turn 5 maybe. Ojatak, Deeper's Foundation. Yep, we've got a few ways of making creature tokens, so might as well have this come into play as well. Sun Titan Cultivate. No, it's just Sun Titan. Bring back all our small stuff when it gets killed off, or our permanents, I should say, mana 3 or less. Does go and get the fetch lands, don't forget, so always useful to have it in. And Cultivated Colossus. Yeah, I just like this card. It turns up in green decks every so often, and I just like playing it. No other reason for it. Spells, we kept it small because we want to be hitting permanents, especially creatures. So Nature's Law, 3 visits, Ranger's Path and Scourge Shroud Claim, give us some ramp. And then we have Genesis Wave to just really go off and go crazy, hopefully at some stage in the game. Same with the artifacts, not many. Sol Ring, Arcane Signet, one of each of the medallions to help us out. And then we have Ozolith, the Shattered Spire, so we get the extra +1/+1 counters when Galadriel hits play. Font of Mythos, just to give some more card draw, because I like drawing cards, and this seemed like it was this or Howling Mine. I went with the font because I just did. You can change it to Howling Mind, or you can play some other ramp spell if you really want to. But I just like having Font of Mythos every so often, because people tend to leave you alone if you let them draw extra cards, I found. And the Great Henge, yeah. Chucking +1/+1 counters around on each creature we control means that this comes down to sort of like 3, maybe 2 mana a lot of the time, so it's here. Beyond that, we have a fair few enchantments for a change today. Hardened Scales is a no-brainer because of the +1/+1 counters. Land tax to go and find those basic lands we'll need. Flowering of the White Tree, might as well pump our creatures up and give all our legendary creatures a bigger pump and a bit of ward. Because we'll be attacking, Beastmaster Ascension just gets in there and makes all our creatures humongously big. Growing Rites of Itlamok also finds us as creatures and then eventually flips into a semi-Gaia's Cradle. It's probably slightly better when it flips because it does still add green, or you can add green for all the mana creatures you control, but yeah, it still adds a green, so it's pretty good. Hadana's Climb, I just like chucking around more +1/+1 counters, and when we get it flip, it gives us a way to evade everything on the ground and go to the air to smack someone around with. Defense of the Heart, I really don't play it that often, but I thought I'd give it a go in this thing. Yeah, kind of builds in with Galadriel in my head. Beginning your upkeep, if an opponent controls 3 or more creatures, sacrifice it, get 2 creature cards, put them onto the battlefield. Okay, that's good. Felidar Retreat, either cat tokens or +1/+1 counters, depending what we're in the mood for. Yep, Smothering Tithe, not going to talk about it. Same with Glorious Sunrise, +1/+1 and Trample, giving a land +3 mana. Draw a card if we've got a creature with power of 3 or more, or gain 3 life. Choice is yours. Probably the first and second ones are the ones that work out the best for me when I've played it before. Mirari's Wake, just to give us some extra mana production and a +1/+1 to all our creatures. Virtue of Loyalty, give ourselves a night token and then cast it and start chucking around +1/+1 counters like no man's business. Zendika's Royal, just to give us another landfall thing that gives us some 2/2 elementals, and Virtue of Strength. We have a few basic lands, we don't have loads, but I do like the ability to have to return target creature or land from your graveyard to your hand if you need that to happen. That seems pretty good to me. 5 mana, or 7 mana and get it down to tap basic mana. We've got a few, 4 forests, 3 islands, 3 plains. We've got 10 basics, so maybe need a few more to make it better, but we'll go with it for now. The rest of the deck, blue, green and white lands, as you can imagine. Nothing particularly surprising in any of this whatsoever. Gavaney Township's worth having a shout out though, because we haven't played it for a while and it's here today to chuck around some more +1/+1 counters. I have got Reliquary Tower, I have got Temple of the False God, because Galadriel, if she dies off, is quite pricey to get back into play. Yavimaya here, that's it. I think they're the ones posting out. Obviously Spara's headquarters is here just so we can have the whole tappy thing and cycling if we need to, but yeah, we can go and find it with some of the search lands if we need to at some stage. And that is it. I've tried to keep today's video a little bit shorter. They've been getting a bit long recently, but Galadriel's pretty straightforward. Play creatures, trigger her, get the benefits, off we go to the races and hopefully win the game very quickly. If you think there's anything I've majorly missed out, let me know in the comments down below. If you can subscribe, I'll ask you now. I've been sitting at 537 for a while now, so a few more subscribers would be really nice. So please, if you can, hit the subscribe button that's in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. And yeah, come back tomorrow for another one where I've had someone else ask for a different card. So for now, thanks for watching, take care, I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Bye.